We are currently sitting about 2 months away from the start of the 2019 NBA season, and I, like so many of you, am incredibly excited to see what this season has for us. This past offseason was crazy with so many blockbuster player moves, including a few noteworthy trades and, of course, big name draft picks. The 2019 NBA roster layout around the league is so different from 2 years ago. Can you believe that half of 2017's All-Stars are now on different teams? What is the world coming to? This is part 1 of 4 of a series I will be uploading to this channel where I give my predictions with some thorough explanations as to how I believe this coming NBA season will go down for each NBA team. Of course, surprises happen, and I am eager to see who impresses the league, but of course I am always fearful of who is next to get bitten by the injury bug. But let's turn off injuries and predict the 2019 NBA season. Part 1, Eastern Conference Losers. Finishing dead last in the East this year, I believe, will be the Brooklyn Nets. This past offseason, the Nets made a few roster moves for aging players on expensive one-year contracts. This has set the team up beautifully for the summer of 2019, as they only have committed about $43 million, but this means this year's team will be awful. The biggest saving grace for this current squad is the former number 2 overall pick, D'Angelo Russell, who got off to an electric start last season, which saw averages of 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists a game, at only 21 years of age. However, a knee injury he sustained forced him out 32 games and the team fell apart. He returned to a dysfunctional tanking squad that seemed to lack any direction. But this summer is a fresh start. Kenneth Faried is likely going to be back on an NBA court, which is exciting, and Jarrett Allen is looking to build off of a solid rookie campaign. The East is the weaker conference. Everyone and their mom knows that. Despite my prediction of this team underperforming, you must know these players, coaches, owners, and fans believe they can slip into the playoffs. And if this happens, I would be very pleased. 14th place in the East will go to the Charlotte Hornets. The Bobcats/Hornets franchise is a failure. Michael Jordan has not drafted well. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist and Cody Zeller were failures seen from a mile away. Why? Because neither can shoot. Simple. If you cannot shoot the basketball consistently in today's NBA, you must be amazing at something else. These two are not. Yet these two make up $70 million in 5 years worth of the team's expenses. The bright spot for this team is Kemba Walker, who, guess what, will be 28 years old this season. Walker is as good as he is going to get, and if you do not add anything to this team, it will not improve. What did the Hornets do? They got rid of arguably their best player a year ago, Dwight Howard, in exchange for a 2021 second-round pick. This was probably the most one-sided exchange in basketball I've ever seen. The Hornets did not want the $21 million for 1 year with Howard, so they instead took Bismack Biyombo's 2-year $34 million. There is no explanation for anything they have done recently, and this team, despite being made of players in their prime, is going to struggle. I expect a Kemba Walker trade mid-season. Then I expect an even worse squad. Finishing 13th place will be the Atlanta Hawks. This team is very young. They have nobody on the roster over the age of 29. The biggest roster moves was obviously the trading away of Dennis Schroeder, the trading for Jeremy Lin, and the drafting of Trae Young. I have no idea how Young will fare this coming season. I do not follow college basketball because I do not have the passion or time to do so, but I have heard this kid can shoot and pass like Stephen Curry. I doubt this will immediately translate to an NBA game, but I am confident I am going to have a strong interest in following his growth this season. Jeremy Lin has had some bad luck these past couple seasons with injuries, but he has shown he can put up 20 a night in short outbursts, and considering the players he is surrounded by, he may be asked to do just that. The quiet addition, center Alex Len, is going to be very interesting. Most people do not realize this, but Len was one of the most prolific rebounders in the NBA last season, so expect great things from him. This Hawks team is in the same boat as the Nets. They think they can slip into the playoffs, and depending on how these guys play, along with a few other outside factors, we just may see an Atlanta return to the playoffs. This season's 12th place team in the Eastern Conference will be the once mighty Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cavs team is a mess, and the only form of stability I can see is the signing of Kevin Love to a 4-year extension. This means the team is going to fight off rebuilding as painfully long as they can, and they might as well. They do not have many young players to build around, and they have a few bad contracts. Over the next 2 years, Tristan Thompson is set to make $36 million, George Hill $37 million, and J.R. Smith $20 million. A good deal of their cap space is being wasted on 3 has-beens. Sure, Kyle Korver can still hit open threes, but where will these shots come from? Almost exclusively, they will have to come from Love, who is not exactly known for his passing. I like Jordan Clarkson, Larry Nance, and Chetty Osman, but these guys aren't going to win many games. This team may blow up again, but the only way to get rid of one of these wasted contracts is to throw in at least a couple of these young guys along with draft picks. Now, Kevin Love is still Kevin Love. With the Timberwolves as the guy, he dominated his opponents, but his team struggled mightily. This may happen again, or this team will slip into the 8th seed. Who knows? Either way, LeBron has hurt this team again, and I don't see a return coming anytime soon. Finishing 11th, I have the Orlando Magic. This team has a lot of size. They have basically 4 centers if you count Jonathan Isaac. I really want the Magic to be good, and they have some pieces to do this. Aaron Gordon discovered how to shoot last year and has been improving his game steadily each season. Evan Fournier is one of the most underappreciated young point forwards in the league, and Nikola Vucevic has been a consistent double-double threat these past 6 years. Now they have added Mo Bamba to play the backup middle role, and depending on how things go, he may move to the starting slot. They are very handicapped at the point guard position, as career backup DJ Augustine is set to be their starter. But if they maybe make one move to take on a true quality playmaker, this team may be good enough to compete for a playoff spot. The most tradable pieces I see is a combination of Augustine and Vucevic. In fact, I am going to go ahead and call a midseason deal right now, maybe even for Kemba Walker. I like Orlando. I like the moves they have made. I'm looking forward to watching them play this coming season, but this current iteration of the team is just not quite there. Now we are moving on to the teams with legitimate playoff hopes. I have finishing 10th, the Miami Heat. Can you believe this team has over $152 million on payroll this season? The most in the entire NBA, which means yes, they are spending more than the big market Lakers, Warriors, Celtics, or Knicks. And despite spending so much, they have only one All-Star on roster. Now I love Goran Dragic. He was one of my favorite childhood players, but last season the NBA gifted him that All-Star bid in return for all those times he was snubbed, and I think as a reward for carrying Slovenia to be Eurobasket champions. Point is, Dragic is the least All-Star-y All-Star in the league right now. Tyler Johnson is set to make $19 million, which is about $10 million too much. Hassan Whiteside's attitude and basketball abilities have been all over the place this past year, and Dion Waiters has not played a healthy season since 2016. This Heat team has a lot of pieces that could work, but history tells me they won't all be clicking as they should. Wrapping up the Heat, here is a bold prediction. Derrick Jones Jr. will win this upcoming slam dunk competition. Alrighty, time for number 9, aka Basketball Limbo. Not good enough to contend, not bad enough to get any decent draft picks. Finishing 9th this season, I have the Detroit Pistons. A familiar spot for the franchise. Yes, they officially have Blake Griffin for presumably an entire season, but how much does that really help? Blake is not an elite level scorer. He has lost his motivation to rebound. He is a little too proud of his 34% 3-point shot, and there are 40 bigs in the league who play better defense. Andre Drummond is worthless beyond 3 feet from the hoop, and Reggie Jackson, who is not that noteworthy to begin with, routinely misses half the season with injury. This team is a mess and needs to be blown up. They have dug themselves a hole with the contracts for their big 3. This team may enter the Kemba Walker sweepstakes this season, but they would have to bite a bullet and take another big salary contract in exchange for a 1-year Kemba. This may happen, but it is not worth it. Sorry Detroit fans, get ready for another year of frustrating basketball. That wraps up my losers for the Eastern Conference. Next video will be covering the winners, aka who I think will actually make the playoffs. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you want to see more weekly basketball discussion videos, please subscribe. And if you would like to support the channel, head on over to hustlecosupply.com and use my code HAZE20, that is HAZE20, for 30% off. Also, maybe check out my Instagram, Haze092895. Thank you all. See you next time.